The bottom section of the patient activity page is called Patient Actions. In this section, you can record items that need to be done in the future. Example, calling a patient to follow up on a varifocal collection. Or information about the patient that needs to be flagged when they next contact the practice. To add an action that you would like to appear in the action list, select the date that the action needs to be carried out by clicking on the arrow next to the date box and selecting the date the action needs to be carried out. Type the action into the grey box. Leaving the reminder box checked means that when the patient record is opened, this action will pop up. If you uncheck it, the action will not pop up when the patient's record is opened, but they will still appear in the action list. And finally, if this action is specific to a person, you can select them from the drop-down list. Then click Add. After the date that you've selected, this action will then appear in the action list. To add an action that is something that you would like to be flagged up when the patient's record is opened, you do not need an action date. You can click on the Remove Action Date checkbox. This will stop the action from appearing in the action list on the front page. Type in the information in the grey box. Leave the reminder box checked and then click Add. Now, anytime we find that patient, the actions will appear. Anytime that you would like to stop the action from popping up when the patient's record is opened, you can use the completed boxes. For actions that have yet to be completed, this box will be empty. Completed actions will have a date in this field and will no longer appear on the action list. To enter a completed date, you can either double-click on the Date Completed field. This will enter today's date. Or you can single-click on the field until you see the cursor appear, and then type in the date the action was completed. Once saved, the Completed By field will automatically populate with the name of the user that completed the actions within iClarity. Actions will be listed in this box with uncompleted actions at the top and completed actions underneath. The completed actions will be ordered by the date completed with the most recent date at the top. Please see the next video to find out about the action list and more on the iClarity patient's records. On the top right of the main screen is the notification button. Clicking on this button will show you a list of the actions due or overdue. This button has 3 different states depending on the actions in the list and the user logged in. You have no actions outstanding. This means there are no unassigned actions due or overdue to be completed, and there are no actions due to be completed by the user logged in. Unassigned tasks pending. This state means that there are unassigned tasks that need to be completed, but for the user logged in, there are no actions due that are assigned specifically to them. The number will change to represent the number of unassigned actions in the list. You have actions outstanding means that the logged in user has actions outstanding that are assigned specifically to them. The name of the logged in user is shown above the button. This number will also change to represent the number of assigned actions outstanding. Please note, there may also be unassigned actions outstanding. By default, the action list shows patient actions that are due today or overdue, and actions that are assigned to all users and the user logged in. Actions assigned to the user logged in are usually highlighted green. When actions become overdue, they become highlighted in red on the patient's record. You can change the view of the action list by amending the selection in the drop-down list and by clicking on the Future Action buttons. Include Future Actions button brings up any actions that are due in the future. My Actions and Unassigned Action drop-down list. By default, this list will show you your actions and any unassigned actions. This can be altered in the drop-down list. You can see only your actions, only unassigned actions, or all actions assigned to anyone. iClarity will remember your last selection and reopen the list with this option already selected. Once you log out and then log back in, the default selection of My Actions and Unassigned will resume. Double-clicking on the patient name in the action list will open the patient record on the Patient Activity tab. Double-clicking on the completed date field in the list will enter today's date so that the action is completed. Because the action list is editable, the first person in the practice to open the list will have edit rights and can complete patient actions from the list. Any other user opening the list whilst the first user still has it open will only have read rights. This means they cannot sign off patient actions from the list, but they can still double-click to open the patient record and sign off actions directly from the record after they have been completed. Keep Actions Open checkbox will keep the action list open. This means that when you double-click to view a patient record, the action list does not automatically close. The action list is still open in the background.